Okay, Russia has plans to annex Uzbekistan. There is a guy called, his family name is Prilepin, not Prigozhin, Prilepin. He is a writer and also the member of parliament of Russian parliament, so-called fake parliament, called State Duma. During some meeting with some people, he said that Russia has to annex Uzbekistan to teach Uzbeks better Russian. So when they will come to Russia to work in Russia, they will be a better servants to Russians. Right now they don't have good Russian, and they're not good enough servants. It was so profoundly racist and chauvinistic thing to say, and people cheered everybody who was present there because it was a meeting of chauvinists and racists. And you can say to me that, well, it was some guy who said something, what's the deal? Why it is so big deal? Okay, but Uzbekistan, they ordered the ambassador. They called the ambassador to the meeting and asked for explanation from him. If it was just some random guy speaking, running his mouth, there would be no such a reaction. And also the official press secretary of Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, this heavily drinking woman, Zakharova, were also trying to explain something. I would say what it was. It was the same situation as it was during. Do you remember that before full-scale invasion into Ukraine, Putin held a Security Council, I think it is called, meeting, and the guy called Narishkin said that he is supporting the uniting Donetsk and Lugansk republics to Russia. And Putin, who was chairing this meeting, he had to remind Narishkin that we are not speaking here right now about uniting. We are speaking about their independence, that we recognize independence of Donetsk and Lugansk republics, not about uniting. So he was giving away their game ahead of the time, actually. And then in several months, in last autumn, they said they, annexed Lugansk region, Donetsk region, and two other regions, Zaporizhia and Kherson region of Ukraine. So I think we have right now the same thing. The guy who was giving away their game ahead of time. But the interesting thing here is that Russia doesn't have border with Uzbekistan. To annex Uzbekistan, they have to annex Kazakhstan first. And Kazakhstan should be really worried because already for some period of time there were some talks in Russia that at least northern part of Kazakhstan, it is not Kazakhstan, it is Russia, it was always Russia, and it was gifted to Kazakhstan. Just some part of Ukraine were gifted to Ukraine. Do you recognize the rhetoric? And The plan is, of course, from Putin, is to revive the the former glory of Soviet Union in the borders of Soviet Union. Besides Ukraine and Belarus, which are, the first victims of this plan, all other former Soviet republics should be worried, especially those in, not especially, but those in Central Asia are not an exception. And also Russian forces were already in Kazakhstan. They were there in January of 2022 when they were helping to stabilize situation for the current leader of Kazakhstan. And they were there and they can return. And the thing is that northern borders of Kazakhstan are too vast and actually undefensible. Kazakhs, if Russia, for example, has some kind of a peace agreement in Ukraine and decides to switch their attention to Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan have very, very big problem because they have a very lengthy border and not enough people to defend it. They were counting on the goodwill of Russia that they are not going to to invade them. And if Russia decides to invade them, they cannot stop Russians from invading. Also, you remember that 3 of former 15 Soviet republics are now, the Baltic states, they are now part of NATO. And if, for example, Ukraine falls, in case, they will be attempts to try to discredit NATO and to try to force them to accept that, if NATO accepts that Ukraine is a part of Russia, then they will be forced to accept that Baltic states are also parts of Russia. And when it happens, what I cannot see what will prevent Putin from dreaming not of borders of Soviet Union, but of, for example, of Imperial Russia. So, part of Poland and Warsaw were part of Imperial Russia, and Finland was a part of Imperial Russia. So, the war in Ukraine should be ended soon and ended in a humiliating defeat for Russia. And they should feel this defeat. Otherwise, all the other former states, former Soviet republics are also threatened. And if they will feel the give that Western Europe is reluctant to fight for Eastern Europe, they will go further. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you and Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday and Slava Ukraini!